Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tactical Solutions. Hope that you guys were all having an amazing start to the week. You guys liked the video that we uploaded last week so much that this one was a very highly requested video. If you guys want to see me to continue to make top stocks shortly after our Sunday stock talk, and for me to talk about and give my own opinion on the top stocks that I see value in, please make sure you drop a thumbs up, and I would love to make these videos for you, maybe even every single Monday, but again, it's up to you. So let's go ahead and get right to it. I'm going to be talking about 5 stocks in this video. Like we always say, is none of the stocks that I talk about in this video are in any way any stock suggestions. They all tend to meet a very similar criteria, and the goal that I have throughout this entire video is, out of the 5 stocks, I hope that maybe even just one meets your criteria of an investment, of a trade that you want to see value in and that you want to follow up with, but maybe it's just not at the position where it would be the best time to buy. There's nothing wrong with that, but I hope that maybe you can create a watch list, add the ones that you see value in by cherry picking them, and follow up with them when they make the most sense to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right to it. I want to start off with SAPI. I need to give a huge shout out to Pascal. Pascal brought this one to our attention today within our Learn Plan Profit live trading session. Poor earnings. And this is one of the things that we have talked about so much for the past 2 weeks. Companies have been reporting earnings and a lot of them are dropping. This thing offered a very strong direction and pattern, making higher highs and higher lows. Unfortunate earnings. It was consolidating below the SMA line. Unfortunate earnings acted as a negative catalyst, and it can continue to drop. Just because something drops 23% in one day doesn't mean that the days that follow it has to recover. Please get that idea out of your head. But because it's so oversold and the recovery potential, I thought that for those that like to trade oversold stocks, meaning that stocks that can be presented as good deals, but again, a good deal does not make a good buy if it continues to descend. And I want to make sure that you put yourself in a position that you guys can succeed. I just thought this one would be interesting. I already have my alert set for the break above 120. I think because of the profit potential of it nearly being at 30% potential, even if you capture 5-10% of that, again, a goal is something to work towards, not something that you have to hit every single day. And let's keep it as simple as possible. Once we get proper indication of an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, it breaks above the EMA line, you have nothing but time. No one's forcing you to buy anything. No one's forcing you to buy tomorrow. If you give it time and direction and opportunity becomes more clear, then you'll feel more comfortable trading or investing in whatever it is that you see value in. So this was the first one that I wanted to start off with. The next one is, we've talked about this one so many times before, and again, it was brought up in our Learn Plan Profit live trading session. We've talked about it before, and I decided to take a position on it. Again, it's a super small position size. It was really just for fun. I only took a 10 share position size. It's pretty early. Netflix has been making higher highs, higher lows. It had one of its first best 2 quarters, right, in 2020 during this very unfortunate time. It unfortunately sold off. It was because of earnings, and guess what? It has, based off of previous patterns. Let me explain to you 3 things that I like about this stock. It's overall bullish on the 180-day chart, right? Higher highs, higher lows. Second thing is, I like the direction, right? Because it's making higher highs and higher lows, and its consistency with its pattern, it makes it easier. It's not easy, but it makes it easier to be able to identify the high points, low points, high points, low points, high points, and low points. I like to also focus on a good deal. That's my 3rd bullet point. Who likes to buy things for a good price? A lot of people do, right? And this is where we have to be careful, because of course things can get worse before they get better. With the second stimulus check, with the election, with all this crazy news going on, it doesn't mean that you have to buy right now, but maybe you can add it to your watch list, add some effective alerts, and follow up with it when it makes sense. The profit potential based off of previous highs, and I'll be a little bit more conservative on the 548 price range, is about 12%. I find that attractive, even if you capture 5% of that. Again, a goal is something to work towards, not something that you have to hit every single day. So we talked about Netflix. We talked about SAP. The next one that I want to talk about is ORCL. ORCL aggressively sold off. It has been making higher highs, higher lows. I know this is not one that we talk about very often, but because it's been so consistent, because it's been so bullish, and based off of recent patterns, it's viewed as somewhat of a good deal. It's still selling off, so it doesn't mean that it's a good buy right now. But even if we do wait for the break above the EMA line, I wanted to go for a more conservative stock, something that has been consistent. It doesn't offer huge returns, but it's so consistent that, again, when direction becomes more clear, if you are someone that is just getting started, maybe some stocks are moving too quick for you. Even if things go south on this one, they normally don't go south very quickly. So this can give you time to collect your thoughts, watch your position size, manage your risk, and kind of like enjoy this learning process with a stock that doesn't move as quick. So I quickly wanted to talk about this. I'm going to set my alert very quickly on this one, and I'm also going to set my alert for the break below $56 just in case it continues to sell off. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We've talked about this one before, and what did we say? We thought that it was a really good deal here because it was testing the SMA line, and it's been making lower lows and lower highs. So again, now we're reminded with the idea that just because something is oversold does not mean that it's a good buy right now. And why? Well, because it could, of course, continue to sell off just like we're seeing. And what did we say in that video where I originally talked about DraftKings? The more patient you are, especially if you're so obsessed with the idea that, hey, this is a good deal. Hey, this is, a stock that I want to buy. I'm all for that. But it's the right time to buy that makes the most sense. And it's not always that there's going to be a perfect time to buy, but like we've said before, it's so much easier to grow your trading account when you're patient and the direction is in your favor. We have not gotten proper indication of higher highs or higher lows. It's almost the exact opposite. We've been getting rejected by the EMA line and making lower lows and lower highs. So I would set my alerts. The more patient you are and the more it sells off, the better deal you can buy it for. Think about it that way, right? And because you can buy it for a better deal, more potential for upside, right? Nearly 55% return if it were to approach previous highs, even if you capture 5 or 10% of that. Again, we just need to wait for the direction to be a little bit more clear and in our favor. And until then, set your alerts and let's follow up with it then. Last one that I want to follow up with, the last stock that I want to follow up with is Intel. Intel has been making a steady recovery due to the unfortunate times of the pandemic, right? And also it saw a very aggressive drop here, and we saw a very aggressive drop here. And you guys might be asking, for those that haven't stayed up to date, what ended up happening is Intel announced that they were no longer going to be, in a sense, the leader of these or manufacturers for these semiconductors and all the different processors that they make and stuff like that. Again, guidance is a little bit off, aggressively sold off. One of the things that we want to talk about is the last time that this happened, it took a while. It didn't recover right away. It took time for it to kind of build its momentum, its consistency, and find its support. Same thing here. We have nothing but time, and based off of the last time that it aggressively sold off, there was times that it did make a decent return. Is this the stock for everyone? No, right? Especially not right now as the overall direction is bearish. But for those that like to buy something for the potential of there being a lot more upside, then I can see why, some of you guys might see value in this. I wanted to talk about it. For those that do, add it to your watch list, follow up with it when it makes sense. And for those that don't see value in it, the amazing thing about the stock market is that you are the final decision maker on where you choose to put your money. That simple, right? So I'm just here to talk about stocks. It is your job to cherry pick the ones that meet your criteria. I do want to follow up with the other stocks that we've been talking about. I still am keeping and staying up to date with PLUG. It's testing SMA line. It's oversold, very consistent uptrend pattern. I'm waiting for it. PTON, still selling off, still getting rejected, still has earnings. So I'm still following up with it. And the one that I'm paying the most attention to is BE. Still has earnings, very oversold, getting rejected, lower lows, lower highs, and I just love the consistency in this one. So I'm very excited to follow up. I added a couple more to my list, and what I quickly wanted to talk about is, I don't think I've talked about it already, is I wanted to talk about an ETF. I talk about TQs all the time. I wanted to change it up. S&P 500 seems to be a more popular ETF, so I wanted to talk about SPY. Well, the SPY seems to be a more popular ETF. This thing isn't something that has ridiculous returns or anything like that, but based off previous highs, it has nearly 4% ROI. If it were to approach the previous highs, very close to the 180-day high, it's testing the SMA line as of right now. It's below the EMA line, so we're not making higher highs. But I just thought for those that maybe want to get into ETFs but don't like TQs because of how leveraged it is, maybe this is something that you can look a little bit more into, see if it meets your criteria, see if you can keep up with it instead of just trying to trade what I trade just because, again, I trade it, right? So let me know how you guys think I did in this video. I really hope that we earned your thumbs up. And if you guys would like to see future videos like this of talking about the top 5 or the top 10 stocks that I see value in, just make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, make sure that you drop a thumbs up. And hey, even comment down below what you would like to see me talk about next week, especially if you think that you have a top stock. On top of that, don't forget to stay connected. We do run one of the largest Facebook groups in the world for those who trade in the stock market. It's TechBot Solutions. It's the first link down below. We have 292,000 members. And if you want to get connected with like-minded individuals, then again, that's a great way to do so. If you guys also haven't checked out our apparel, not only have we almost sold out of pretty much everything that we dropped on the apparel side for the new Wall Street collection, but also we just came out with new aluminum art and we just restocked. You guys always ask me, what's this aluminum sign behind me? And again, we just restocked it today. It's almost sold out. And again, you can check that out with the third link down below. I really do appreciate you guys' time. Don't forget to stay connected if you guys want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. That's the second link down below. But until then, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy, team.